So I'm Phil Johnson, I'm a head of software engineering, and in recent weeks I've been talking about some of the habits from this book, which I found really influential in my career. So this is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. So I've done a couple of videos already about the first 3 habits, so catch up on my YouTube channel if you want to catch up on those. But basically the first 3 habits are ones that we do personally. So Covey talks about these first 3 habits as being the independent habits. They get us to independence if we practice them. And he talks about them being private victories. So we can do them on our own, and we can practice them on our own to become more effective. But when we get into the next 3 habits, so we get into what Covey talks about as being the habits of interdependence. So this is where we have to practice them in interactions with other people to influence or to negotiate. And this is what Covey talks about being the public victories. So the first of those public victories or interdependent habits is habit 4, which is win-win. So win-win is obviously the outcome that is the most sought after if you're in a negotiation or if you're in any kind of interaction with other people. Now it feels obvious that we should go for win-win. Everybody gets something out of it. But culture and society is sort of programmed into us a bit of a win-lose scenario, or that's the thing that we often end up going for possibly without even realizing it. So often targets at work and things, they're kind of built around one person on the team is the best in terms of the targets, the KPIs. So, one person gets the bigger bonus that year, or one person wins the holiday, at the expense of the rest of the team. And it creates this kind of culture of people really striving to do well, but to do well for themselves. The business might get something out of it because they're making sales or they're delivering software, but ultimately there's a personal aspect of getting something out of it, and it alienates the rest of the team and creates friction and bad feelings amongst people. And on a bigger scale, when you talk about different companies working together, suppliers, service providers, win-lose is something where there's one party feels like they're losing out, and there's going to be bad feelings about that, and sometimes we come to a win-lose scenario because the other party feels like they'll get more in the future. They might get a better deal in the future, and they might recoup some money that they're losing on this one if it goes on. But what Covey says is the bad feelings that build up when you do get win-lose, you feel like you're getting something now, but in the long run, actually both parties end up losing out because of the ill feelings and the fact that the other party will try more to win in the future, and possibly at your expense. So there are a couple of other scenarios. So you've got lose-win, which is where you're on the other side of the fence. So you're going into this kind of negotiation, this deal, or this interaction with the knowledge that you're not going to get something out of this. You're going to lose something. You're going to have to sacrifice something, and the other party, the other person, the company that you work for is going to win, and you're going to harbour the bad feelings towards that. Now, why would we choose to go into a lose-win scenario? So one of the main things there is we feel like, or we try to justify to ourselves that at some point in the future we'll get something back for that. So it might be that we're working more now and not getting any reward, or we feel like we're not getting any reward. So we feel like we're in a lose-win situation. The business that we work for is winning, we're losing. But, we justify it that at some point that'll be recognised and I'll get that promotion, I'll get that financial reward, the bonus. But that doesn't always happen. And the big thing to sort of remember with lose-win is it does build up your own ill feelings, and in the long run you never really get back what you try to justify to yourself that you will by going into a lose-win scenario. The fourth scenario that we've got, and this seems like a funny one initially, is lose-lose. So this is where both parties are gonna lose out. So why would you ever want to go into a lose-lose scenario? So this is where things have generally kind of built up, and there might have been some lose-win and win-lose agreements or negotiations in the past. So things have become quite fractious, and it gets to the point where both parties are willing to lose or sacrifice just to see the other party or person kind of lose out. So this could be where someone has been on the lose side of a couple of lose-win scenarios in the past, feeling like at some point things are going to come their way, and that's never happened. So they go into the final sort of interactions with this person or third party, feeling like it doesn't matter what they sacrifice themselves, they're gonna make the other person feel a bit of pain. This is like the saying, cutting your nose off to spite your face, and everyone really does come out of this one losing. And the worst thing is, you could be focusing that energy and attention on something really positive, where you could be getting something out of it yourself. So this is where we focus on negative things and we get drawn into it. So yeah, definitely not a place we want to be, the lose-lose scenario. Which kind of brings us back to win-win. So it feels like that's the only possible option. And Covey says it isn't, and we'll get into that a little bit more soon. But with win-win, what Covey says is often people feel like compromise is a win-win situation. But Covey kind of describes compromise as really being lose-lose. Neither party is getting what they really want out of the deal. Everybody feels like they're sacrificing something or losing something, and they're not even getting what they really want. So Covey says in situations where people are starting to consider a compromise, the best thing to do is to look for a third alternative. Which might be something that incorporates the things that both parties felt like they wanted going into that negotiation or deal, or it could be a completely new thing, that's different to what people felt like they wanted going in. But when they talk about it, both parties are going to get enough out of the deal to feel like they've won something, they've achieved something, they're going to get something from it that's really worthwhile. So win-win is obviously the best thing to go for. Go for the third alternative. If you don't just settle for a compromise, look for something that is better for both parties than just both parties losing out on something. And what Covey says is if you can't get win-win, you should never fall back to win-lose or a lose-win or a lose-lose scenario. You should always either go for win-win or no deal. If it is a scenario where it's anybody is going to lose out or feel like they're losing out, then both parties should agree that actually, say we don't want somebody to lose out on this time, so let's just neither of us get what we wanted out of this one. And it keeps the channels open, it keeps the communication open for future things. And what what Covey says you'll find is rather than a win-lose where you feel like you're getting something now, but longer term you'll probably lose out because of the ill feelings and things that come up. Actually, if you go for no deal, people tend to have more respect for you by not kind of making them sacrifice something for your own gain. So you tend to end up in further communication with that person or that party, and actually both parties or people getting something more out of it in the future. So that's the fourth habit, which is win-win. Hopefully you found that useful. If you have, then subscribe to my YouTube channel and catch up on any of the older habits if you've not seen those, and I'll catch you on another video. See you later.